Warning: this art has blood. This story is based off my own creepypastas. Their stories are gruesome. You have been warned. We will start off with Toxic Bear. She is a young woman who originally is from France, moving to the US due to her father's job. She is the type of girl to be jealous over everything everyone has that she doesn't. She has no shame in openly stealing and lying to get what she wants. Unfortunately, she pissed off the wrong group of girls. These girls invited her to a sleepover. She went only because these girls were popular and rich. The rich girls planned to scare her into submission. The ringleader of them's dad worked with chemicals and had a few laying around the house. The rich girls mixed them together before dumping them on Amelie, aka Toxic Bear. This unfortunately killed her. The rich girls in a panic dumped her body in a ditch, not wanting the murder to be tracked back to them. However, Toxic Bear somehow came back as a vengeful ghost, equipped with toxic clawed gloves. She takes revenge on the girls who caused her death. After that, she focused on going after anyone prettier than her. She's very basic. Unfortunately, I didn't put much effort into her story. Next up is Mush. The youngest of them at only 11. He is a young boy who has autism. His parents worked testing on fungi to find cures or other useful resources. His family were about to go on holiday, but had to stop in at the lab before they left, just to hand over some paperwork. They had left Mush with a colleague as they chatted with their boss. Unfortunately, the colleague didn't really keep an eye on Mush. As he had wandered further into the lab, Mush found himself at his parents' station within the lab himself. He was just as fascinated with mushrooms like his parents were and couldn't help but explore, picking up a dish with something growing in it that seemed to breathing. He dropped the dish as her door opens, and his parents walk in worried. Before they could scoop up Mush and leave, their boss stops them, pointing out whatever was in the dish was now on Mush and they had to keep him in the lab. To ensure his own safety, the parents were hesitant to agree, but they did for Mush's sake. However, their boss quickly phoned the police to report Mush's parents of neglect, and they were forced to sign Mush over to the lab so they could cure him of whatever he had caught. His parents got fired from their jobs and lost everything, including Mush, while his parents fought to get Mush back. He was kept in a cell himself. He seemed to grow fungus on parts of his body, including over his eyes, a mushroom cap growing out of his head, even mushrooms and fungus growing under his feet no matter where he was. This infection only got worse, not for Mush but for anyone around him. The scientists found if Mush really wanted to and was frustrated, he could pass on the infection to others. However, rather than becoming like Mush, they become a mushroom zombie that cares for Mush's every whim till the body decays. A week later, slowly his mushrooms took over the lab. It was deemed as abandoned and a risk to health. Everyone who had been infected and Mush were pronounced dead. However, Mush hangs around over time, finding a way to control the infection. Next up is Dr. Lust, aka Dr. Samuel Woods. He is a therapist within an asylum for the criminally insane, or used to be, at least. When he was born, his soul was split in two, one side being raised in the land of the living and the other being raised in hell. His earthborn side had two very high-class parents, his mother an ex-model and his father a lawyer. His parents only married for status, but his father neither touched his mother after Samuel was born, saying she was ruined. Instead, he started to touch Samuel inappropriately when he was a child, harming Samuel as he didn't let his father use him. His mother was no better. She neglected him and paid him no attention unless it was to tell him how much of a mistake he was. At age 12, he took his father's hunting rifle and shot his own father, telling the cops he did it because his father was hurting his mother. This same day, he met the being that was the other half of his soul, the two becoming one at last. As he grew, his mother didn't change towards him, at least until he got married. He met Quinn through his work, and the two became buddies. Eventually, he snaps again, this time killing his mother and running out of town, leaving his pregnant wife to deal with her fallout. She got blamed for her mother-in-law's death and the disappearance of Samuel as days before they had taken life insurance on Samuel. Due to his line of work, unaware her husband was an incubus who had been cheating nightly on her. Next is Mama. The other three will be their own posts as they have longer stories. Mama was overhuman. Back when burning a woman for being a witch was normal. She had a son of her own who she loved dearly. She was one of these witches. Her king found out and demanded a beast to control, or he would burn her for all to see. She agreed, showing him the spell which without thinking he used on her, turning her into a bird-type beast, using her son as blackmail until eventually she outlived everyone, over time losing herself to her new instincts. She lures children away from their parents, as anyone who hears her speak will hear their mother. Any child who is abused in any way she raises only to eat them. Any child who is happy she just eats, steaming them ungrateful brats. Any child that is happy, even the ones she has raised, she will eat, not even feeling remorseful.